Hey guys, John from FlyMikeAlpha.com, and today we're going to go over how to choose a CFI. So if you're new to flight training, or maybe you've already taken a few lessons, but you want to make sure that you have the right CFI working with you, we're going to run through a few key factors to help you determine if you have that right person helping you along your flight training journey. So the first thing we want to talk about here when choosing a CFI is not to walk into an FBO or a flight school and just look for the fanciest CFI, dress the fanciest with 4 bars on their shoulder that looks all legit and super cool headset case or flight bag or whatever. None of that stuff really matters. A uniform doesn't matter. Whether it's an FBO or a flight school or just a CFI that owns an airplane that's teaching guys, none of that stuff matters. We're going to talk about what really makes a difference here, all right? So, first thing, experience. If you're a new pilot, you'd like to work with a little bit more experienced instructor who's worked with a lot of other new pilots and can relate to newer pilots. Interestingly enough, newer flight instructors that might only have a year or 2 flight experience have a difficult time relating to newer pilots because, although it's only a year or 2 ago, that's a long time in flight training. So for newer pilots, you'd like a more experienced instructor, and how you can determine this, aside from just asking them how long they've been teaching and how many students they've passed and how many flight hours they have, would be to ask if they're a Gold Seal flight instructor. A Gold Seal flight instructor is someone who has at least an 80% pass rate and obviously cares about getting their students through, or cares enough to at least go and apply for that Gold Seal status with the FAA. And also has a little bit additional training, holds an AGI certificate or an IGI certificate for ground instruction. So not guaranteed that they're an awesome instructor, but clearly they take it a little bit seriously enough to at least hold that additional license. So a Gold Seal flight instructor is great for a private pilot student. Now, what about those 250-hour flight instructors that just got their flight instructor certificate? If you're looking at additional ratings, like a commercial rating or something like that, maybe even instrument, don't discount those guys. Those guys are fantastic if you're looking at doing instrument training or commercial training if you already know how to fly. But if you're a brand new pilot, it's good to work with someone who's a little bit more experienced and especially has worked with a lot of newer pilots that know basically nothing and can relate to that a little bit better. Now, the next thing in choosing a flight instructor is choose someone that has a slightly similar background to you. If somebody's from New York and you're from the Midwestern United States, you may have different personality types and different backgrounds that don't always mesh so well, and you can't necessarily communicate on the same equal level. And communication in flight instruction is the most important thing. You have to be able to know that you're going to be able to communicate with this person effectively, and most importantly, that they're going to be able to relate to you and communicate effectively with you as to what they're trying to tell you. Now, next thing to ask about, and there's really not a great way to check this other than just someone's reputation, but their pass rate with students. If they have a pass rate of 50% or something like that, or even 75%, even 80%, it's not really that great. You really want someone who cares enough, who's going to make sure you get through on the first try. Not someone who's just going to be like, all right, yeah, you're good enough, go ahead, give it a shot, see if you can pass your FAA check ride. Twofold. A, you don't want to fail an FAA check ride. B, if you're questionable, you're not in the safest situation to begin with. So you want someone that cares enough about their students, that's going to train them to a very high level, that guarantees they pass on the first try. So someone with a 100% pass rate would be really great, or at least in the 90%, because every time, some people have enough students that, somebody's bound to make a mistake on a check ride or something like that, but 100% is really what you're looking for there. Next thing you could do, if you're really in doubt and you happen to live near an airport that has Flight Standards District Office, FSDO we call it, FSDO, the FAA Flight Standards District Office based at that airport or nearby you, just pop in and see if they recommend anyone in the local area or at that airport. Those guys, although they can't really give you a solid recommendation because it's kind of, they're supposed to remain unbiased, they definitely know what schools are getting into trouble with maintenance violations or pilot violations. So they can be a really great resource to at least kind of give you a, hey, we can't recommend anyone, but maybe just stay away from that person. So don't discount those guys, and don't be afraid of the FAA ever. They're actually super cool guys. They're there to help, and they only have jobs because we fly. So they're happy to see new pilots like you, and they'll be happy to take a few minutes of their time to answer a few questions you might have about choosing the right school or CFI locally. Next thing is ask a CFI if you're talking with someone. and you think they might be the right CFI for you, ask if you can talk to a few of their prior students. If they don't have any prior students for you to talk to, or if they can't find any that they know of off the top of their head that'll give them positive reviews, then that's kind of a red flag. I mean, at least they should be able to think of someone that could say something positive about them that's fallen with them. So everyone should be able to do that. And if they can't, that's definitely a big red flag there. So ask about their prior students. They'd be a great resource. Obviously, when they give you a reference, that reference is going to say fantastic things about the person. So it's more about their ability to provide references than actually what the reference has to say, so to speak. Next thing is going to be, how much does that CFI really care? They might really care about selling you on flight training and getting you to throw a bunch of money on account and come take some flight lessons, but do they really care about flying, and do they really care about you as a student? Well, how do you tell if they really care? Well, some key traits of CFIs that really do care, you'll see them volunteering and giving their time and sharing their aviation experience with others. Do they participate in any local study groups where pilots show up maybe once a week, one night a week, to just kind of chit chat about, some random topic? Do they participate in EAA Young Eagles and take kids flying and volunteer their time for free? Do they partake in any other social events around the airport or any other pilot groups to kind of give back to the general aviation community? Do they provide personalized handouts, or do they actually take the time to make flight instruction videos or make personalized handouts for their students that detail maybe some of the local anomalies in the local airspace or local tower procedures or something like that? Not so much what do they provide you with, but do they actually take the time to try to increase the quality of their instruction and increase your overall learning quality? Other things you can ask them is, have they ever taken any students on a tower tour? That's a great telltale sign. If a CFI has never taken a student on a tour of a tower, doesn't mean they're a bad CFI, but I mean, they're probably not going above and beyond when there's towers all over the place, and any control tower from the most podunk airport in Nebraska to Detroit Metropolitan Airport or Tampa International or Chicago O'Hare, they will accommodate tours, and many towers, just if you call them up, they'll accommodate you right away. So if a CFI has never taken a student on a tour of a tower, especially if they've been instructing for a couple of years, it's kind of questionable as to how much they really care about providing that extra bit of quality to their students throughout the flight training process. Now, the most important thing here, above everything else, above someone's experience, above what kind of outfit they're wearing or what kind of airplane they fly or anything that we've talked about so far, is assuming they meet all those criteria and you think they might be a good fit, you have to make sure you're comfortable with them and that you guys gel. Similar backgrounds, similar life experiences help, but if you're getting into an airplane with someone, and it could be for anything as silly as maybe they just have kind of an aggressive personality, maybe they're pretty type A and you're not, that's not going to be a conducive learning environment. Anytime that you feel a little threatened or uncomfortable, you're just flat out not going to learn. And airplanes are really loud, bouncy, and make terrible classrooms. So you need to have the absolute best quality instructor as well as the best person to communicate with you and make you feel comfortable and put you at ease so that you can actually learn when you're in the airplane rather than just being scared for dear life, holding on like crazy, and not absorbing what's actually going on around you. When people get nervous, they get tunnel vision. They can't actually see what's happening in the airplane, and they can't actually learn over that flight lesson. So are you comfortable with that person? It could be as silly as maybe they just are kind of like a bigger dude and you're kind of a bigger guy too, and you won't fit in the airplane that comfortably together. Maybe they smell weird. Maybe they just have some weird mannerism you don't like. As shallow as it may seem, it's a totally valid reason to totally write somebody off, discount them, and not fly with them. If you're not comfortable, you won't learn. And this is all about you learning, not about anything else really. So, those are the criteria that we're mostly looking for when choosing a flight instructor. Now, we'll go through some other key factors in another video about how, once you find that flight instructor, how to make your flight training actually count and how to get the most out of that flight instructor. Maybe you're already with a flight instructor and you'd like to switch, but you've been with them too long and you can't. Well, how can you get the most out of that person with the way things are right now without changing flight instructors? So we'll go over that in another video. Thanks so much for watching this one. If you have any questions at all, go ahead, leave them in the comments below. Feel comfortable about asking questions. Flight instructors are totally okay with you shopping around and looking for the one that best fits your needs. We're not here to force you into flying with us, and anyone worth flying with will go out of their way even to pair you up with another flight instructor if it means you're going to get a quality flying education. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching, and thank you for all your support on Patreon. It is a huge help in making the dream of a comprehensive, free online ground school a reality. As always, if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below, and be sure to share us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all the other social media sites, so your friends and family can find us and also take advantage of this great free resource. Be sure to give us a thumbs up on our video and subscribe to our channel to make sure that you keep up with all our latest episodes as they're released. And remember, if you can't fly every day, then fly 8MikeAlpha.com. We'll see you all next time.